You're listening to Binjang 91.5, and it's time for Tech Talk. I'm your host, Tony Graham, and it's Tech Talk with Mathew Dickerson this morning. Good morning, Matthew.
Yeah, good morning, Tony. Great to be chatting technology again. And one day soon, Tony, we might be in the studio together again once this lockdown finally ends.
Oh, I perish the thought. Face to face, you're talking about?
Oh, one of those old-fashioned things. I know it's an old-fashioned concept, isn't it?
Yeah, we don't see faces very often these days, do we?
No, it's very different.
Only from a distance. Anyway, yes, it'll be great to look forward to that. And now, I guess we need to get down to business here, though. Now, the European Union is putting its foot down with e-waste, that's electronic waste like computers and all those electronic gadgets. Now, is it going to help solve a problem or just make Apple angry? I mean, as if Apple's the only company in the world.
Well, this is the only company in the world that doesn't want to play ball. The European Union, yes. The European Commission has talked about the idea in the past, and they've been trying to get industry to come along. They've made some general recommendations that the whole world should move to USB-C for charging. And it actually started this campaign, Tony, back in about 2009 when there were so many different proprietary chargers. Every different phone you'd buy, every device would have its own separate type of charger. So they've been asking various industry organisations to say, why don't you put your heads together, come up with a common standard, and then everyone use that. And in the main, everyone has decided to play ball. It's taken a while for them to get there, but it got to the one stage where you had micro USB and USB-C. It started to narrow it down, and it's gotten to the point now where pretty much any communications device you buy is going to be USB-C. Just about every different type of charger, even lights for my bike, Tony, are now coming out USB-C. So it's gotten to the point where it's pretty much a universal charger. Everyone except Apple, because Apple plays by their own rules. Now, Apple put a whole bunch of arguments forward to the European Commission about why they can't move to USB-C. It will stop innovation, and lightning ports on their phones are the way to go. And they've put all sorts of different arguments forward. They've even said it would create more e-waste by people having to go out and buy USB-C chargers if the lightning port was gone. Now, ignore the arguments from Apple that say we've actually moved to USB-C already on the iPad Pro, iPad Air and iPad Mini range, so they've obviously seen the logic of USB-C there, but for their standard iPad and all their iPhones, including their new iPhone 13 just released, they've all stuck with lightning ports. So there's a bit of a battle going on here. Mainly, in my opinion, Tony, it comes down to Apple liking to be in control and Apple liking to take a little bit of commission from all of those different accessories that you buy, every third-party accessory, everything that uses the lightning port. Apple gets a little tiny bit of a cut from that. But they do like to be in control, so they don't really like the idea of going to USB-C. It may even get to the point, Tony, where a future iPhone comes out with no ports on it whatsoever. It's going to be all wireless rather than go down the path of USB-C. But for everyone else, USB-C, let's make that a standard. It makes sense. It's universal. Happy days.
Yes, well, I agree with all of that. I mean, this argument's been going on for years, and it's very obvious Apple's been doing it for commercial reasons and nothing else. Now, for our next topic here, Matthew, we're talking about China declaring cryptocurrency transactions illegal, effectively banning the use of all digital tokens such as Bitcoin. So there's a lot happening in that space, isn't there? And I think it's all about control in the finish.
It is, I think, a lot about control. And one of the big disadvantages of cryptocurrencies is also one of the big advantages of cryptocurrencies. A lot of people who are advocates of cryptocurrencies talk about the fact that there is no central bank, no central government in control. But that's also one of the big disadvantages, because you can get something like this, a decision by China, where they say, actually, we've decided against taking on any cryptocurrencies in our country, so that's it. No more purchases, no more trading in cryptocurrencies. Now, it's actually been illegal in China for some time in the country itself, but foreign exchanges have actually been using cryptocurrencies in the market. But now they've actually said, we're going to crack down on it. They started to make a few noises earlier on this year. They're going to make some changes, but they've now said, that's it. no more trading. It's now illegal in China to do anything with cryptocurrencies whatsoever. And with my knowledge, limited knowledge of China, if I was in China and the government said something's illegal, I don't think I'd do it, Tony. So that effectively puts a complete stop on any cryptocurrency usage, trading, purchases, whatever you want to do with a cryptocurrency in China now is gone. Now, Bitcoin, as an example, fell by US $2,000, the price of Bitcoin, in the wake of this announcement. Because once you start taking out a major economy like China out of the whole game of being able to use a cryptocurrency, that puts a fair old dent in the usefulness of that currency. And there are some problems around cryptocurrencies. Again, because people don't understand them that well, you do open yourself up to the ability to have significant fraud. And there was one a couple of years ago, there was a woman who touted herself as crypto queen. She introduced a new cryptocurrency called OneCoin and went around talking to people around the world about investing in OneCoin. The authorities don't know how much was actually invested. It was anywhere between €4 billion up to potentially €15 billion. And people invested this money because cryptocurrencies were going to be the next big thing. And then one day she didn't turn up for a conference she was booked in to speak at, and she disappeared. When they looked into it further, OneCoin was not actually a cryptocurrency. It had never been created. No blockchain had ever been created. So she'd basically pocketed up to €15 billion, and she's never been seen again since. She's been charged in absence by the US government, but it doesn't matter. €15 billion has gone into her pocket. So this is one of the problems with cryptocurrencies. Because people don't understand them, they don't really know what they're investing in.
Well, that's just astounding, isn't it? What a story. Now, New South Wales Police have rolled out new geo-targeting of missing persons text messages. Unfortunately, though, the public doesn't seem to be impressed by that, so I would have thought it was a good thing.
Well, it sounds like a good thing in theory, Tony. It's actually quite clever. The technology behind it's quite clever. They've worked in with Optus and Telstra and TPG or Vodafone, and they've said when we have someone that's a missing person, a person of high vulnerability, we need to be able to know all the mobile phones that were in the area where that person was last known, and we need to be able to send them a message. So to go across different carriers, to go across the facility there where they've got geotagging of those carriers, all of that behind the scenes is quite clever technology. Where the New South Wales Police have received the public backlash is that people are now confused. We've heard warnings from the police, we've heard warnings from Scamwatch, we've heard warnings from the Australian Federal Police to say, when you get those text messages, do not click on the link. But the New South Wales Police have said, it's okay, it's from us, here's the number it will come from, and the link is just a link to the photo of the person that's missing. But we know that scammers are quite clever, and I say that in inverted commas because I hate to use the word clever with them, Tony, but they can send a message that looks like it comes from the police, and they can send a link that looks like it's a photo, but it's not a photo. It takes you to a site that asks for information, or it might infect your phone. So this is where the public is a bit confused. On one hand, we're being told by authorities, don't click on those links. Be careful of those scams that are out there. Oh, but if it comes from us, it's okay. Click on that to help find someone. But asking someone from the public to actually know whether it's from the police, a legitimate message, or whether it's a scammer that's made to look like the police, very cleverly dressed up to something that looks like it's coming from the police, that's the real challenge for people there. And I don't know there's an easy answer to that one, Tony.
Yeah. And you'll be listening to Tech Talk with Mathew Dickerson on Binjang 91.5. So stick around this afternoon for our next session. And in the meantime, it's back to all the great information and music.
Sounds great, Tony.